everybody, welcome to Rossendale Radio, the voice of the valley. My name's Marie Baistow and you're listening to the Mental Health Matters show. Now, I never get fed up of saying that. Matters, I think it's matters I don't get fed up of saying. Mental health, anyone that's listened to me before, for the fact that I've worked in mental health for 20 years, sounds bizarre to say I'm not a lover of that word. I think we need to redesign. I think it needs mental well-being. Yes. I think we've become aware of mental health. I think we can all agree in some shape or form there's been an increase in mental health. We have a mental health day on Saturday, so there's lots of items on the internet, in the news, everywhere, and I think we've moved to a point of awareness. I'd like to say I think we've all got a heightened awareness. I believe we all need to take the next step into moving into what does that mean? What does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it mean to my day? What can I do to improve my mental well-being? What do I call it? Because language is important. It's just a term that just hangs there as a theory if we don't really own it and shape it into our lives. Why is it important? Because my goodness, it does damage when the balance is tipped and we become unwell. The nature of life, living in life, gives us some storms, it gives us some curveballs, and it gives us some pluses and minuses. I think we will all agree on that. And no more than the last 7-8 months have we all been in this challenge. But I say, if we learn how we can look after ourselves in those storms, put air in our life jacket, what's meaning for us, what's the just right, the Goldilocks moment? We don't know that, and I often find people learn that in ill health, when the crisis has turned up, when we're in that kind of recovery. I want this show to be having some conversations about prevention, and then, dare I say, what about thriving? Yes, so there's that space. So we're a long way away, but I have a fantastic guest tonight that I know is doing some awesome work on the thriving. So I want to introduce Liz Cronshaw to you. Good evening, Liz.
Hello.
Lovely to be here. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being patient with me while you saw my chaotic entry. People don't normally get to see that, you see, Liz. It was a crazy moment, wasn't it? Yes, I think I probably added to it by forgetting my phone in the car. Having a bit of a chest thing going on and having to run down the stairs because I haven't got a lift thing, but I daren't get in the lift near the show because I think, just what if it breaks and I'm kind of stuck in there, and so yes, I mean, and that doesn't, it doesn't linger or cause me, despair. I just think practically don't do it. So welcome. So let's tell the lovely listeners of Rossendale who you are, Liz.
Yeah, so my name's Liz Cronshaw, and I'm the co-founder, along with my very dear friend Gemma Sanchez, who lives in Rossendale, so she's not far from you guys.
Yeah.
Myself and Gemma are both former primary school teachers. So long journey short, back in 2016 we were asked to develop growth mindset as teachers in our school. Myself working in Key Stage 1, Gemma was Key Stage 2 based. And the reason we were asked to develop that by the head teacher within the school was because we were noticing year on year the children coming through from reception into year 6 starting to lack resilience, having that fear of failure, managing emotions, and those sorts of like being persistent and sticking at things and becoming independent learners. And we were more and more recognising that sort of characteristic was sort of seeping. So we were asked to look at developing a growth mindset across the school. So myself and Gemma went on a course, and like when you go on a course, you're dead passionate, aren't you? So you come back and you've got everything ready to go.
Yes,
we're going to do this for the kids. And it was like, right, we're going to do growth mindset. And we very quickly realised that, hang on a minute, wanting the kids to invite themselves to become more growth orientated in their learning, But what are we like as adults? What messages are we giving the kids through our body language, through our language that we speak, through our habitual habits that we have because of our own mindset influences it since we were little? And we soon realised, myself and Gemma, we had to go on the journey as well. So that is what we did back in 2016. We started our journey and we saw a massive impact, not just in the children in our classes, but also us as learners, because you never stop learning.
No, but lifelong. Yeah,
we started to recognise how our mindset was actually holding us back, and that held me back for quite a while in certain areas of learning, but I just let it go because I just thought that was who I am. That's who I am, and it's who I'll always be. I'll be good at some things, not good at other things, and I recognise that actually I've got a choice. So myself and Gemma have been on this journey, and we decided to take a risk in 2018 and come out of full-time teaching.
Ooh,
we gave up our jobs.
Yeah. Oh, that is a big one. Ooh.
Big one. Yeah, so a big risk in 2018. We give up our jobs to set up Grow Your Mindset, because we really became passionate about sharing the principles and the theories that we'd learned so much from Carol Dweck, who coined the phrase growth mindset, and we based all our work around her theories and principles. And we took a risk and we launched Grow Your Mindset in September 2018. Wow. Had a really good first year sorting out. It's all about moving from being a teacher to a business owner. It's very different.
Yeah, bet.
Yeah. Really looking forward to the second year of business, because we had a really busy diary. And then COVID hit.
Yes. I think every single listener can, we can all assimilate with that story. I know the "in it together" is the coined phrase at the moment, but for sure we all have experienced that from wherever we're stood in life. It's left nobody untouched. And for sure, a mindset is definitely what's being required within that situation.
Never been tested.
Yes, I challenged my mindset this morning when I was in Tesco, and I was supposed to be collecting a click and collect order, but there was a glitch online with the shopping. So, and I'd finished a night shift, and this is my fourth night shift, and I must admit I had to give myself a talking to in the condiments aisle, because I nearly had a little flip out. And I don't do that, but I seriously thought I was going to have some kind of silly tantrum on the aisle because they didn't have mint sauce, only mint jelly. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, it was like a shock moment, because I thought, wait a minute, what are you doing? Have you lost sight of all your mindsets? So it was kind of like, let's realign, so it has been an absolute, so it was quite humorous, but a cleansing moment for me, thinking, wow, we all got to keep shaping and polishing our mindset, because this situation is ebbing away from many different directions.
And I always say, one of my main mantras is, we don't grow when things are easy, we grow when we face challenges.
Yes, I've always loved the quotes, those.
Yeah, and it's something that I really do think about on a daily basis. And that perception of the word challenge, many people perceive it as being a negative, so struggle, challenge, hard is bad. Actually, that is where we grow the most.
Yeah, and and it is a shame, isn't it, that our culture or our language use as akin ourselves to those negative terms, because a lot of people, the same with the word conflict, I find that people see that as a very bad thing. Now, obviously, challenge and conflict, maybe they're put in those negative brackets where they're seen as things to maybe avoid, things that make us feel uncomfortable, things that are wrong, things that we shouldn't do. And as you say, there's so much growth and learning within that space, and that the skills that you need to have in that moment for that to be a healthy challenge and a healthy conflict. And it's that, isn't it, that people, just that change of understanding, and this is what this show's about, is that just, I wonder, allowing people to think, I never thought about it like that, and it's just that finding the wriggle room in that set down. We set the gauntlet down, don't we, on what we understand things to be,
It is, and if you think about when your mindset is being developed from north to the age of 14 and then to the age of 21, you've got lots of influences around you. You've got your life experiences that mould your mindset. And even like words like mistake, people perceive that as a bad thing. And it's interesting, when we talk to children in schools across the Northwest, and one of the big things that's coming through to us, especially children who are upper juniors, is that idea of perfection and being perfect.
Oh yes. Oh, that's such an affliction. The perfection. Yeah. I mean, thankfully, I don't actually. I'm not afflicted by that. Yes. I mean, I must admit, there are moments, but they're not. They're not heavily weighted one way. I must admit. And I do see that
element, and it's exhausting to strive for that continuously. So that's something that's a big area that myself and Gemma, really, it's about breaking down these barriers with the children, but also teachers as well. So we do lots of teacher training, because like us, unless they're doing it themselves and they're on a journey themselves, how can you then relate to the children's mindset?
It's that noticing, isn't it? It's about noticing that's got a level of importance, that is influencing the situation. And if we've not put that kind of meaning to it, it passes us by without intention. And the teachers obviously intend to do 100% for the students, because they turn up to work to do that, and they're super challenged. I mean, obviously you know that, but any teachers, friends of mine, it's just incredible the level of stress that they're under, but they keep turning up smiling to do the best job. But that awareness, and do you find that some teachers are defensive or not, that you might be suggesting they need to think a little bit differently when they're doing their absolute best in their eyes, understandably?
It's a bit of a game changer, to be honest, because there's quite a lot of misconception out there in terms of Carol Dweck's research and her work, and a lot of the things that you find on social media especially has almost stigmatised the work. I mean, she's coined the terms fixed and growth mindset, but almost people have taken that in terms of you're either one or the other. And fixed is quite a self-judging mindset. It's quite critical. It's that mindset, that little voice in your head that tells you sometimes you'll never be able to do that, you're not good enough to do that. It's the one that holds us back, and it's the one that prohibits our growth. It's the one that makes us want to stay in our comfort zone and stick to what we know. And what social media has done is stigmatised fixed versus growth, almost made it bad versus good. And we even looked at resources in schools, and you've got Yoda versus Darth Vader. And when you think about that, and if you start categorising people into, right, you guys are fixed, you guys are growth, if you default to your fixed mindset quite regularly, you then start to internalise you're actually a bad person to have a fixed mindset. So when you start doing the training with adults and children, they'll resonate with a fixed mindset, but tell everyone their growth because that looks good. And I want to be a growth mindset, not fixed. So asking people, which mindset are you? Again, you're almost categorising. So myself and Gemma, in the training that we've built on, the programs that we do in schools with children and adults, it's that real understanding that we are all a mix of fixed and growth. And we're on what we call a continuum, and we flip between the two.
The spectrum of the sliding and slipping around, that we are all everything inclusive, that we
exactly. What we always advocate is getting friendly with your fix, because some trainers or some schools that are developing a growth mindset culture, they almost like see fixed as a bad thing. We don't want that. We want everyone to have a growth mindset. Well, it's not like, come on kids, I want you your reading book and your spelling test on Thursday and bring a growth mindset with you. It's not something you put in your backpack and bring to school. It's with you all the time. So understanding that movement between the two, but recognising when your fixed triggers come out, and then taking that on a journey to nudge yourself towards growth is where the magic happens.
Magic happens.
Recognising your triggers is the first port of call.
Brilliant. Now, we're going to play a song of yours, but what I absolutely love what you've just said there is, and I was trying my best not to laugh, so I'm not giving the feedback on your microphone, because I'm thinking absolutely, is that there are people, it's not their fault, some people that think, right, okay, I know about these things now, so we've kind of noticed, we think we've got the knowledge, and we'll just purchase that off the shelf. We'll just get that fully packed, board on top, and now we've done it, tick. And it's kind of, where is that absorbed? So we'll be talking about where the magic is after this song. We've got the first song coming up. You've chosen 3 songs tonight, so I'm going to have to be really good that I don't over question you, so we get them in, because they're 3 great song choices. Anywhere, Rita Ora. Any reason?
Yeah, basically this is our alarm clock call when we're on holiday for me and my husband. And we like a cruise, we like going on our cruises, so this is something that every day we arrive somewhere new, and this is the thing that wakes us up. And we've not had a holiday this year because of COVID, so it's just something as a reminder that holidays might be on the horizon.
They exist, and
next time we have one, it'll be amazing.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy this. Okay. Rita Ora, Anywhere, and we played that song for Liz Cronshaw. We were hoping that she was thinking she was on a cruise somewhere there. So we were talking about the magic, yes, the magic of growth mindset. Tell me a little bit about the owning and the absorbing, the transformational magic of what you teach.
Right, okay. So working with children and adults in businesses as well as education, so we don't just stick to schools even though we're teachers. Everyone's got a mindset. So it's for us, it's about spreading that passion and that awareness to people wherever we can. So we've developed lots of different programs for businesses and for schools. And we've actually, when I think about COVID in terms of opportunity and spreading that magic and making people aware, it's actually opened up quite a few doors. It could have been panic stations because schools shut down, we shut down in terms of what we had in the diary. And we actually looked at it and thought, right, we could either let our fixed mindset take over with this and really panic, or what can we learn? What can we do differently? How can we adapt and grow ourselves as people as well? So it's about that journey in terms of becoming more aware of your fixed mindset. So for an example for me would be in terms of my driving experiences, I passed my test when I was 18, and then I crashed my dad's car and wrote it off. And the fear that sort of like began to resonate with me, my fixed mindset, it was all the what if, my little voice in my head telling me I'm rubbish at driving, I can't do it. And it snowballed into something so big that I didn't drive for 14 years.
Oh my word.
Yeah, so it was something where it became a fear and I would avoid it at all costs. I would make excuses. And I worked in Manchester at the time, so I used to get the tram from Bury to Manchester. Everything was great. So in terms of developing my mindset, long story short again, in 2016 this journey began, and in 2019 I drove a 600-mile round trip to Devon on 5 motorways without even thinking about it. And it's about that understanding that it's a fear holding you back, but changing your dialogue that you're saying to yourself.
Yes.
Me and Gemma call it flipping the script. So that little voice in your head, when you start to think one thing, flip it to think something else. So, this is going to be really hard, I can't do it. Actually, this is going to be hard, what am I going to learn from it? How am I going to grow from this situation?
So reforming the sentence. So when you notice that you've just talked harsh to yourself or critical, because your ears are always our ears are always listening, so we're kind of our best coach, aren't we?
We are indeed, yeah.
So you're saying, see that, do this, and it's a flip. It's a flip over of a sentence structure. Wow, I mean, it's a great strategy to learn, even if that was the only thing somebody took, and obviously there's lots more, the list is endless. That is a game changer.
Pardon?
That's a game changer of the learning to flip. Yeah,
it is a game changer, and especially for those children who fear making mistakes or fear failing, and when they suddenly recognise actually this mistake's an opportunity to grow, or it's natural to make mistakes when you're learning new things, and it's going to take time because they learn about the science behind the brain and how the brain learns, and how you don't get things. We call it the Amazon effect, because people just expect things to be so quick nowadays. because you want a book and you order it, the next day it arrives, you want something to eat, just eat, you get it in half an hour.
With instant gratification, haven't we? We've turned into an instant society.
Yeah, we have. And in schools, children expect to be taught something in 5 minutes and know it. And when they don't know it, they start judging and comparing themselves with other children. And when you start getting that ranking of intelligence in the class, that's where that fixed mindset foundation starts to grow. And for me as a teacher, it was about breaking down that fixed mindset and actually celebrating not academic scores, not who's the smartest, but actually who's making progress. Yeah. What progress are people making in the classroom, no matter how small?
Yeah.
And that learning will take time. And that really worked for me as a teacher, to develop that culture of growth.
And I suppose that's where the next song choice, The Land of Confusion, because to be confused is something that we've got to sit quite comfortably with and know that that's where that is the space where they're learning.
Yeah. And plus, in terms of the landscape that we've got at the moment, there's a lot of confusion going on in terms of regulations and rules. And I just thought it was quite apt with the lyrics.
Yeah, well, let's have a listen. It's extremely apt, Liz. Thanks for choosing this one. We have the lovely Liz, for anyone that's just joined us. We have Liz Cronshaw from Grow Your Own Mindset. We've been talking about the magic of learning and that we can't develop ourselves by buying something off a shelf, that our learning takes place within a sense of confusion, challenge, and staying comfortable with that challenge and knowing confidence that you have the abilities, and those will develop over time with some strategies. And one of the great strategies Liz shared with us is flipping the script. Love that, absolutely love that. We didn't mention about the big inflatable brain though, did we, Liz? And I have to get that in. Tell me about it.
Yeah. That's a bit of a party piece, is that one. It's our 10-foot inflatable brain space that we take into schools. And we normally use it initially when we launch Growth Mindset with the children. So we've done the work with the teachers, and we've got up to 6 hours worth of training for staff alone. And then when they've got that foundation of learning for themselves and they're on the journey, we then launch it with the children in an assembly. And we bring in the 10-foot brain and start to just drip feed messages about what mindset is. Yeah. And then we've got a lot of mental work with the classes in the schools to really create that, almost like that consolidated message from reception all the way through, so the children are really aware of what mindset is and how they can take more control of their own mindset. And a lot of children can't understand it. Well, they find it a bit of a game changer in terms of they know what their brain is and what their brain does in terms of it controls everything you do. But when you start talking about how your mindset controls your brain, that's whoa, yes, how does it do that? And that's a real hooking.
I was going to say I almost visualised a fish hook then, or one of them shepherd's crooks, and it really is that curiosity, isn't it? And go, oh, that's exciting, how
you control mindset. Oh, that's amazing.
I'm interested now. And that, I think that learning, because we're all taught, and it's nobody's fault, that we're kind of like separate compartments. It's almost when we see an X-ray of ourselves, we think, is that us? We can't make that kind of connection of we are parts of systems, and while we've got physiology, we've got lots of other things as well. Things don't happen a certain way. We're not cars. I mean, obviously we know we're parts, and we can make those assimiles to car parts and filling your engine up with fuel and looking after all your maintenance, but at the end of the day, the brain and the mind is the part that we can orchestrate, which is so exciting because we can create our own tunes.
That's right. And we always say that developing a growth mindset is almost your foundation, and then whatever you build on that is more powerful. But once you're on that awareness of that fixed mindset and how it does come out to play, and it does it so quickly sometimes. I mean, I could be working with a class and give them something in terms of a challenge, and I've just talked about developing a mindset, and within seconds I've got children saying it's too hard, I can't do it. Straight away, without even absorbing what it is, what they already know that's going to help them, they give up instantly. And it's just like, have you just heard what you've just said? It's like, oh God, I have. And And that's it. It's like recognising. We've got another nice strategy we use is something called SOS.
Yeah.
So when you recognise your fixed mindset, you stop it from taking over and influencing you. You observe how it makes you feel, because very often your fixed mindset makes you feel worried, nervous, anxious, stressed. And then we shift it. So SOS, stop, observe, let's shift it. We're not going to ignore it, but we're going to change that mindset.
I love that, because I know I say to some of my clients, okay, so what do you do at traffic lights? If it was on red, I stop. Okay, what do you do when it's on green? And they look at me as if like, are you silly? And I was like, oh, go. Okay. Well, we're so conditioned for certain actions. We see this, we do this. How about we use a similar but really powerful way of letting us know when we're doing things that are not very helpful, that we're doing things that are making things a bit worse. And I suppose we need to know what makes things worse. We need to understand that, but then we need to flip it, like you're saying, understand what makes things better. Because a lot of talks about it's almost as if we the passiveness of we just accept things the way they are. It's just because it is. As opposed to knowing, as you're saying, the whole concept of your business is the power of the ability of change, just learning those strategies. And what's fantastic, what's come over to me, Liz, is how you're using lots of hook points to help children understand complex theory into really simplistic application.
It's even a matter of saying to the children, close your eyes and imagine the colour red. Now imagine blue. Now imagine a triangle or a square or a circle. You're changing your mind, you're changing your thought processes. So why can't we change it from a thought of I'm rubbish at this to, you know what, I'm going to be great at this. That thought process change can be quickly when you think about things like that. So why can't we do that about a challenge?
Absolutely, because it's the same as it's when we want to drink or we're going to eat. The complexities of the muscles and the sensory system and the balance and everything that's required, that our thought initiates these actions, and we reach for the cup and we drink, or we use the knife and fork, and that is we kind of just take that for granted, that it just is, but it's learnt skills. It's going to all them areas of the brain that you're showing the children with your big inflatable, and you're making those relationship difference connections and saying magic stuff, you can control some of this other stuff, and I suppose it's like keep looking for that aha moment. And if we can catch children early on, obviously you're passionate about this, it's something that we've ignored as a society, that we think that you just learn these things as we move along. But if we learn them much earlier in our life, purposefully, like we do maths and we do science and we do religion and we do all of these things that we're rote learning or we're laying down and becoming competent at, for me, and I suppose for yourself, Les, I don't understand why we're not teaching this from the word go. It doesn't make any sense.
If children from reception up to year 6 when they leave primary school have had a consistent journey of developing their mindset, we know that mental health or mental illness symptoms start to show around about the age of 14 or later life. If we can give them the two, and we're not saying you'll never be stressed, you're not Dr. Happy with a growth mindset.
No.
Or stressed or nervous, just means you internalise it differently. So you don't snowball and hold on to those negative feelings. You shift the feelings to become more positive.
It's the damage, isn't it? Damage limitation, and when the damage is done, it's the heal. And our skin does that. We're all happy to heal as cuts or a broken leg, or move it through to rehabilitation or a better place or a better way of living. We do that with physical health really well. It's essential. We know that it all has to happen. We don't stay with ill health. We try and improve the symptoms, and we try and prevent with physical health. But we're just not there in that space of thinking, do you know what, we don't have to fall down a black pit to learn here. We could maybe skill up much sooner. Just know these things happen. Absolutely brilliant. we're running out of time, Liz, and I've already.
Talked all night.
Do you know what? Yeah, I could. Yes, I think we've both squared each other up on that. And I need some parameters, strong parameters. That's my mindset. Learning is that I need to be reel myself in.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, well, when I've seen the acute end of ill health on the wards for many years as I've seen, it is soul destroying. It is soul destroying. Not for me. I'm not saying it's for the person. That kind of crisis has just taken them by such surprise, and the resilience they need at that moment, and the skills and the tools. They're desperate, and it's brand new learning for them. Brand new in ill health situation, and it's just that's the bit that I think I just wonder, why do we have to do the tough? Life is tough, but we don't have to make it as tough as it is, because we're not sharing this with people, we're not enabling them, we're not facilitating them, we're not protecting them. And I actually get mad about it, not passionate, mad, because I'm thinking this is so doable. We just need to make sure it's happening.
The focus needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I need to bring you back to this show, Liz, because you have so much.
Maybe with Gemma next time.
Yes, come together. Definitely come together.
I like the anthem deck of growth mindset.
Please do. Now I'm going to play your. We're going to have some adverts now, but I've got another lovely lady waiting, Denise, who's going to tell us what she's done for her well-being this week. One of her listeners. I'm going to play your song that you chose, Shakira. Try Everything. Fantastic. Yeah, the title says it. Yeah, I'm going to play that at the end of the show, if that's all right, Liz, and you get to listen to that at home. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Rossendale Radio. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've loved seeing your face. We're on Zoom, people.
We are on Zoom.
I've gone technological. If there was a little bit of feedback, I've still got to tweak my learnings of where to put these microphones, so I apologise, people. But thank you so much, Liz, and you take care. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.